What is up, and welcome back to the Mariners franchise, where today we're going to be getting into our first offseason with the ball club, and we got a lot to get to. We got new contracts, roster moves. We'll take a look at the players that we drafted finally. There's a lot to get to today. First order of business, coaching staff. We need a new farm director. Our old one retired, so we'll go ahead and replace him. And then I think we're also going to replace our pitching coach, which is unfortunate because I like P. Woodworth. I think he's a good pitching coach in real life. He's just terribly rated in this game, and he's not helping us at all. We have good young pitchers. We need to develop them the best we can. We also just drafted a couple in this last draft, so unfortunately, it's time to replace P. Woodworth. And we have some players that are about to be free agents. We got Dylan Moore, Jorge Polanco, Drew Pomeranz, and Trevor Gott. And of those four players, the only one that I do want to bring back is Trevor Gott. He was actually really good for us last year. Got called up mid-season, pitched 55 and 2/3, had a 2.1 ERA, a 104 whip, was solid in the playoffs as well. Kind of the surprise of the season for me. He was phenomenal out of our bullpen. The other three, Pomeranz was terrible. We'll let him walk. Polanco never really carved out a spot for him in the lineup. And then Dylan Moore is just a do everything utility player, but he can't hit. So we'll let those other three walk. And before we go any further, I realized that I missed the spot where we take a look at our draft picks. So we're going to go through the players that we got from the draft last year right now, starting with Hank Sorvala. He was actually our second pick of the first round. We didn't actually get our number 3 overall pick signed, who was another pitcher that looked really good, but Sorvala was the one I was most excited about anyway. 22 years old, 65 rated, A potential, should be getting called up probably next year at the earliest. I don't think we'll see him this year, but next year, he looks like a big impact arm that could join the rotation. And the other pitcher we drafted in the 4th round was Mariano Silva. Also looks like a very good prospect. 21 years old, 63 overall, B potential. He might be an extra year or two away, but again, looks like a good quality arm that could join the rotation at some point. We did draft one more pitcher, a reliever, Brian Gonzalez, in the 6th round. That one may not pan out. We'll have to wait and see, but 23 years old, 54 overall, and only a C potential. We'll see what happens with him. In the 2nd round, we took first baseman Felipe Lorenz. I thought he had pretty good potential, and he does. It's a B, but he is 21 years old, only 57 rated, so he might be a couple of years away, but potentially first baseman of the future. And our final pick, in the 5th round, we took Martin Martins, a 3rd baseman. He is only 18, but he's 53 rated with a C potential. He's a bit of a wild card. Maybe he pans out, maybe he doesn't. But he certainly needs a good few years in the minor leagues to develop before we really know what he is about. So maybe one for the future. Again, it's more of a wait and see with him. And now we hit the players that are arbitration eligible. Lots of big names on this list, including from the starting rotation. We got Kirby, Bryce Miller, and Brian Wu. We had some big bats as well with Alec Boehm, Arozarena, and Rayleigh. And then bullpen arms, Brash, Thornton, Spire, and Santos. Most of those players down there will get arbitration, though. I don't think we'll look for long-term deals for most of them. The starting rotation is where we're going to be heavily focused. I think to start with, we try to work a long-term deal for Bryce Miller and potentially Brian Wu. Kirby might end up as an arbitration player this year. It'll depend on what happens with Luis Castillo. Right now, let's focus on Miller and then Brian Wu. So for Bryce Miller, we're going to start with 6 years, $119.6 million, which comes in at just under $20 million a year. He wants 19.8. We'll give him a little bit more and see if that works for him. And for Brian Wu, we're going to go 7 years, $116 million, which is about $16.6 million. So those are the starting offers for Miller and Wu. We'll have to see if they accept those. I think Wu's going to be okay. Miller might want a little bit more. We have our first trade of the offseason, and it's a pretty big one. We're shaking things up here. We're sending Randy Arozarena, Harry Ford, and Colin Schneider to Colorado from Michael Toglia and Brenton Doyle. Now, let me explain, because there's a lot going on here. First off, our major number 1 priority this offseason was first base. Michael Toglia fits the bill. 27 years old, still has plenty of potential, needs to work on the strikeouts, but has lots of power in that bat. I think he could be a big player for us in the heart of the lineup. And then Brenton Doyle, corner outfielder. We needed that as well, especially for trading a Rosarena. Multiple time Gold Glove winner. Decent bat, still room to improve, also at 27 years old. And also important for us, multiple years of team control left for both of those players. Now, what we're giving up. Randy Rosarena, last year of his contract. I said we were going to be shopping him anyway. This deal was kind of what I was looking for to get back for him. Harry Ford, that's the big one. I know. Good young player, but let's be honest, he just doesn't have a path to the big leagues in Seattle. At least not the way we have things set up for us here. And we're in a championship window. I just don't see him making an impact at the big league level for us. So he's more valuable to us as a trade chip than he is as a catcher. I love Harry Ford, but there's just no path for him. There's just no way for him to make an impact for us. So we'll include him in this deal. And then Colin Snyder, they need a reliever. He was terrible last year. I'm happy to include him in this deal. So Tolia and Doyle are coming to Seattle. Let's get him into the lineup. We're getting into free agency now, and our first order of business is, well, bringing back Trevor Gott, because for some reason he didn't accept the offer that we sent him before. So we're bringing him back. I think it's almost the exact same offer we gave him before. I guess he just wanted to test free agency, but he's coming back to Seattle. And we have our second and probably our final free agent signing for this offseason. Obviously, we're going to be pretty quiet at free agency this year. Another bullpen arm. I brought back Paul Sewald. And you probably don't know this, but I've spent the better part of 5 years hating Paul Sewald. I just did not like him as a closer for the Seattle Mariners before, but he's been very good in this game, and he was fantastic for Cleveland last year. For a one-year deal, he's not going to be our closer. I think that's a pretty good bullpen arm to bring in. Okay, I lied. I found one more player that I wanted to sign, and it's Dustin May. We have him on a 2-year contract, only $1.5 million per year, and he's coming in as a reliever. Lots of injury issues with his time in LA, but for $1.5 million a year, he's got decent potential still. He's only 28 years old. Could turn into a decent piece, either maybe a starting pitcher, most likely in the bullpen though. I will say, I do like this feature where a player's agent will come to you and, say that they think that their client's a good fit for your team and they're interested in signing for you. That's a really, really cool feature. However, I'm not interested in Dylan Moore. I know what that looks like. Been down that road. Don't need to go down that road again. Ain't no way we're bringing back Dylan Moore. Especially not for $6 million a year. This woman is crazy. Now we're getting down to the wire for free agency. We're close to the end of January. I have one more player I've been monitoring, and it's Gleyber Torres. The reason being, what if I signed him just to be our designated hitter? It's not bad, right? Like those stats, his attributes, and he hit 269 last year with 21 home runs. He's not even that expensive because he's a second baseman. I think this makes a lot of sense. The problem is I'm kind of late to the party. The Royals, Twins, and Tigers all are interested in him. Apparently, he's destined to stay in the AL Central, but let's see what a contract would look like. He wants 5 years, $12.9 million per year. We absolutely could do that. Our available budget is $18.12 million right now, and I'm thinking it's going to take quite a bit. You know what? I actually don't think I have the money for this. You know what? Not going to do it. I want to. I really want to. That would be an insanely good signing for us. But I cannot eat up the rest of our budget. It just doesn't make sense for us to do that. And he went on to sign with the Twins for only $13.17 million. We could have done that. That's definitely in our price range, but actually I'm glad we didn't because I would have sent the contract for like $15.5 million, overpaid. He would have signed. It would have been cool to have him in the lineup, but that could have really handcuffed us down the road, and we just can't be doing that. So it was a smart play to not sign him, but I'm a little disappointed. And one more last-minute possible signing, Hunter Renfroe. The Phillies want him, which has me intrigued. He does want 2 years, $7 million. You know what? I don't want to go 2 years. He's 34 years old. The reason I would think he's good is we don't really have a good option as a DH against lefties. Last year it was Polanco. He's not back this year. So we could use a bat in there against lefties. Just a platoon situation. So 1 year, we'll bump up the money for him for this year. But 1 year, $7.7 million. I'm good with that. You take 1 year, $7.7 million. We'll see what he says. It's probably going to go to the Phillies. Yeah, he did. He went 4 years. They gave him 4 years. No, fair play. Fair play. You know what? I would have taken that offer too. 4 years, already 34 years old. We don't have that kind of money. We can't outbid these teams that are giving out those contracts. That's insane. Another player whose agent has come to us is Brendan Rodgers. Again, he can hit lefties okay. Doesn't have the power, doesn't have the pop. But more importantly, I don't think as an on-base guy, he doesn't get on base a whole lot, which tells me his strikeout numbers are not great. They're not terrible, but they're also, they're not great. And his walk numbers are awful, which means, vision and discipline are not very good. So, I don't feel like he helps us very much. So, you know what? Not interested in that one. And we're into the arbitration hearings now. First up, the big one, George Kirby. And this is why I didn't want to deplete our funds. The arbitration panel sided with Kirby. He's going to make $16.4 million this year. That's a whole lot of cash. So we're down to $7.2 million that we can spend after arbitration. A lot of those did not go our way, but that's our first foray into arbitration. I kind of undervalued a lot of the players we have. But that's okay. We have another free agent, though. This one, his agent came to us, so he has 98 motivation to sign with us. Rob Refsnyder, 90 contacts, 70 power versus lefties. This dude screams platoon, and I think he'd be a great DH against left-handed pitching. So let's go ahead and offer him a contract. Remember, his motivation is max, so I can actually probably, I squeeze an extra mil. We're getting low on the budget. Let's see if we do 4.45 million for a year. And that was indeed enough. So Rob Refsnyder fills, I guess, maybe the only gap we really had in the entire lineup, and that's a DH versus lefties. Get him in the team. And just like that, off-season is done. We're through spring training. We're ready for opening day. So let's go over the lineups we have and the pitching rotation and all of that before we get into the regular season. So against right-handed pitchers, this is the lineup that will play most of the time. Batting leadoff, hitting first, playing left field is Victor Robles. Alec Boehm is going to hit second, playing third. Julio is hitting third, playing center. Luke Raley is hitting fourth, playing DH. Cal Raleigh hitting fifth, playing catcher. McMahon hitting sixth, playing second. Tulia is hitting seventh, playing first. Doyle hitting eighth, playing right. And JP Crawford bringing up the bottom of the order, hitting ninth and playing short. Against left-handed pitchers, things change a little bit. JP's going to hit leadoff, then Boehm, Julio. Refsnyder comes into DH, hitting fourth. McMahon, Cal, Tolia, Marlowe comes in to play left. He'll hit eighth, and then Doyle will hit ninth and stay in right field. So I like the lineups. I think we're pretty good. I am a little bit worried that we're very power heavy. We'll have to see how that works out for us. And before we get into the pitching rotation, I noticed that Jackson Kawhi got left on the MLB roster after spring training. He has no options left on his contract, so I'm just going to have to trade him. Thankfully, the Orioles offered us Hoyt Kincaid. He was their second-round pick from the last MLB draft, but he's not very highly rated. He does have good potential, though, which is good, because we don't really have a lot of outfield prospects. So we'll take him, we'll stash him. He'll be a player for the future. And now for the pitching rotation. I mean, no surprises here. It's Gilbert, Kirby, Castillo, Miller, and Wu. In the bullpen, it's Santos, Thornton, Sewald returning to Seattle, Gott, Brash, Spire, and Munoz. So no real surprises there. I don't think I've ever had a all 70 rated bullpen, though. I really like the look of this bullpen. Our lowest rated player is Trevor Gott. He was maybe our best reliever last year. I think I would put our bullpen up against pretty much anyone in the league at this point. Our pitching is just outstanding. And I was feeling really good about our pitching staff until I saw we were ranked second. And that's because the Dodgers are ranked first. And I can't really argue that. They have an all 90 rated starting pitching staff. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is their fifth best starter. 90 rated Yoshinobu Yamamoto is their fifth best starter. Yeah, that's just annoying. And now we are finally ready for opening day. We got the Orioles coming to town. They got Kyle Bradish on the mound. We got Logan Gilbert. Let's get into it. Welcome to a gray and rainy opening day in Seattle. The roof is closed, but the sky is the limit for the Mariners this season. Coming into this one with high expectations. And a lot riding on the shoulders of Logan Gilbert this season, taking on the role of the undisputed ace of the pitching staff. And he was dialed in the opener. He struck out the side here in the third, would go on to pitch 6 innings, 11 strikeouts, and gave up just 1 earned run. That is the kind of performance you want from your ace. And there was run support aplenty from this new look Mariners lineup as Michael Toglia gets the scoring started with a nice little double into the left field corner, scoring Cal Raleigh and Ryan McMahon, and the Mariners jump out to an early 2-0 lead in the second. And more of the same in the fourth. Brenton Doyle hooks one down the line into the corner, and he's got a little 2-out double to get things started. And that brings up J.P. Crawford. And the P stands for power. Absolutely no doubt about that one. Launched into the right field seats, 454 feet for the first home run of the season for the Mariners. And did I mention we were a little bit power heavy in this offense? Because the very next batter is Victor Robles, and we'll take back-to-back jacks. He puts that one into the Baltimore bullpen, and it's 6-1 Mariners in the fourth. The Orioles will bring in Jackson Kowar in the fifth, who literally was a Mariner this morning and a teammate of Luke Raley, but he does not care. Not even a little bit. He takes the second pitch he sees from Kowar deep, 401 feet, and the Mariners are piling it on. We pick it up in the seventh inning where Paul Sewald on the mound making his return to Seattle, facing Mountcastle. He's getting a bit of trouble here, 2 on and 2 out. Mountcastle fouls off a pretty good 0-2 pitch there. But Sewald is battling. Gonna try to go down and away with the changeup, see if he can get him out in front. Mountcastle spoils another pretty good 0-2 pitch, so they'll do it again. Sewald gets the sign from Raleigh. Gonna go down and away with the slider. And he gets Mountcastle to swing over the top and gets out of the jam. Welcome back to Seattle, Paul Sewald. And just to put the cherry on top, Michael Toglia had himself a day. 2 on in the seventh, and he takes that one to Souvenir City. He finishes the day with 2 extra base hits and 5 RBIs. Not a bad debut for him. And that is how this one would end. Mariners pick up the win on opening day, 11-1 over Baltimore. Alec Boehm also homered in this game. The Mariners not short in the power department this season, it would seem. And with that, we're actually going to end things there for today. Couple things moving forward. I want to try to get these episodes a little bit shorter, a little bit more to the point. And I also want to get more gameplay in each episode. Obviously, with this being the off-season episode, we can't really do that. We're going to stick with just opening day for the off-season episodes. But during the middle of the season, probably get 2, maybe 3 games per episode, which means we're probably going to stick with like the Sports Center style highlights of each game. It just makes it go by a lot quicker, and I can get more into each episode. So that is it for this one. If you did enjoy it and you're enjoying the series, or if you have anything, let me know what I can improve. Let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you when we come back for some more Mariners franchise.